Let's get it on.
Alright folks, so after a little bit of an awkward moment there with having to remake the first game due to the poor network conditions of the server, we are back! So we have, once again to recap, we have Phoenix MIXS on the side of the Legion, and with Neolution, their opponents of course on the Hellborn side. Both teams seem to be moving swiftly into their own jungles here. Oh. Seiko using the Boo-Boo to scout out that movement, nearly spots him out, but Legion side are gonna be able to see him on the high ground and prevent themselves from being scouted out. But they will move down eventually. Ward does spot them out. Boo-Boo just sent into the Kong pit to hide himself just a little bit, but no conflict gonna be found here as of yet. But just a quick rundown of all the players in the in this game. Once again, on the side of MIXS, on the Legion team, we have Boxer playing the support Monarch, Aijazin on the Silhouette, Muffin Boy on that core Jeremiah seemingly, Natfi on the Gladiator, and Escape on that Lots of Forest. Meanwhile, on the Legion side, playing for Neolution Esports, we have Lord Mikhail on his Bombardier, Sakurada on that support Pearl 5678 on the Gauntlet, Seiko on the Wild Soul, and Zlapped on that Electrician, who seems to be sent to the solo safe lane here, short lane for himself. No Legion team member gonna be there to contest that lane, so he's gonna have a very good time for now at least. Solo lane by himself, couldn't be happier. Meanwhile, middle lane, both teams with their melee middles have sent their respective supports to help them out here. So looking to be the side of MIXS looking to be a little bit more aggressive here. Monarch constantly poking at that Gauntlet and spamming the Crippling Pollen onto him, but no real kill potential to be found just yet. Pro, of course, always at the ready with that asphyxiate. Oh, Gauntlet gets a hook in on Jeremiah, but not gonna be nearly enough to take him down just yet. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Silhouette gonna be pretty much solo here. Gladiator just sitting around to facilitate the pulling off the lane. Lord Mikhail gonna have just a pretty bad time here against a lane like this. Lane control is gonna be completely in the favor of the Legion side here. But Lords of Forest eventually was sent to that top lane to contest against Zlapped here. Yeah, he was sitting in the jungle right before that just to get a little bit of extra XP, but realized that he didn't need to do so. So a lot more XP to be found on that lane, so will rotate there. And it seems like Monarch will do so as well. Middle lane, Jeremiah confident enough to hold his own against both Pro and Gauntlet. Pro moving around to secure that rune for Gauntlet. Will find a haste rune here. Might be able to find a little bit of an opening here on Jeremiah. Does not have any magic immunity. Will get hooked back by the Gauntlet and pushed by the bubble as well. Caught in no man's land here in between three. Bombardier has moved up as well. Bomb damage onto him. Not enough time for the stun duration to really hit. But Jeremiah seems like a dead duck right now. And indeed, Bloodlust will go to the side of Hellborn here. And kill credit will go to that support Pearl. The early aggression really working out for them here. Nice movement by Lord Mikhail here, realizing that he couldn't get much on lane anyway, so moved at just the right time together with Sakurada to catch out the Jeremiah. Jeremiah perhaps a little bit too greedy there. Muffin Boy trying to push his luck on that lane, didn't realize that you know, they could be wrapping around him at any time, but of course, there was also the factor of that haste rune, which really helped facilitate that wraparound onto him. So at this point in time, he might want to consider getting a level or two into that protective charm here. On top lane, Electrician, looking to do very well against this dual lane. In fact, just skirting around the tree line here. Not gonna be harassed out by that duo at all. So gonna be perfectly fine with that. Getting the last hits he wants pretty much as well. So Forest and Monarch both trying to drop a little bit of extra harassment onto him, but will not result in much. Meanwhile, Wildsoul will have the entirety of that jungle to himself here. Already level 5, farming up the hard camp like it's nothing at all, just doing Wildsoul things. And he's gonna be a real problem here if Legion doesn't react soon enough to him in the form of maybe a gank or just an all-out push of sorts. Hook at them coming out from Gauntlet will not connect onto Monarch here. Wouldn't have been in tower range either, but at level 3 she should be fairly squishy, perhaps enough for him to maybe chase her down even. But Jeraziah will be keeping a watchful eye on his lane still. Monarch will TP out back onto that bottom lane to try and facilitate a little bit of kill, but not presence not needed at all. Silhouette and Gladiator will be able to find a kill off onto Pearl. Bombardier Lord McKeel gonna have to be careful here. Pitfall nearly connects onto him, but will not do so. Just barely misses him, in fact. A little bit of additional pressure onto that bottom lane. Tower already at half health. Hydrogen looking to push down that lane fairly soon here. And ramp up his items and maybe just try to force Wildsoul to react somehow by applying more pressure onto the rest of the lanes as well. So Gauntlet, meanwhile, will pick up a double damage rune, looking really scary on that middle lane. Jeraziah does not want to take his chance with that at all. Looking for a little bit of extra farm in the jungle here. Not off to kind of a slow start compared to his counterpart there on the middle lane, but not looking too shabby yet. Meanwhile, top lane, 3 heroes gonna be moving up there to push down that tier 1 tower of the Legion side here. Bombardier, Wildsoul, and Electrician knocking on the door of that tier 1 tower, and doesn't seem like Legion are looking to try and contest this push at all. In fact, Pearl even moves up there, and that 4-man combo is just a little bit too scary to fight into with just 2 people there. So rest of the team are gonna choose to change the route instead. Monarch Invis Rune catches Gauntlet 5, 6, 7, 8 out here. Gonna be caught by the Pitfall as well. Jeraziah heals so much damage onto him with the Undying as well, and there's no way he's gonna survive that one. Just 4 heroes completely collapsing onto him. The Lord Self-Force does not have his ultimate anymore, and Jeraziah the only one with a big ultimate sitting there right now, so rest of the Legion side will disengage. No real spells to fight into more of a larger opponent base, I guess. But Wildsoul, I'm liking this active style of gameplay here. Also knowing that he does need to contribute somewhat to the economy of his team. Does not sit completely passive in that jungle and does move out the gank as early as push, excuse me, as early as level 7 or 8. So yeah, it does secure quite a bit of a little bit of an economic advantage of sorts with his team. Doesn't really reflect that much in the gold charts right now, but yeah, it's much better than that passive style of gameplay. For now, we'll move towards the Ancients here, which are stacked up thrice. Yeah, indeed, lots and lots of gold out to him. Already has that mana tube. Full Sustainer actually already finished onto him. 400 extra gold on top of that. Will be seeing his cleaver fairly soon here. Jeraziah and Monarch skirting around the edge of this Ancient camp here. Might try to contest. Wildsoul caught out by the Pitfall, but no follow-up to be found. Silhouette sitting on the other side of the tree line does grapple, thinking of going in, but no real opening for her either. Meanwhile, middle lane, a little bit of spamming coming out from both sides. Lots of forwards spamming the more Satissima, excuse me, but no real opening once again to be found. Gauntlet 5678 tries to go for the hook, but will whiff it. And perhaps we're gonna see the lanes become. Oh, the aggression is still very much there here. Not Fee trying to go onto the gauntlet, will get the showdown off on him, and the pitfall will connect as well. Double TPs instantaneously from the Legion side will come in. Gauntlet 5678 solo running away with still between his legs, but will survive in the end. Jeremiah first to fall, Gladiator to follow soon afterwards. Hook from Gauntlet onto the high ground, locks off for his ghost. And now he's caught in no man's land. Monster Titsuma will not connect. Gauntlet still taking down from the Undying. Will not die just yet. And South Forest will be the first to fall here compared to him. And Silhouette as well. The swap out with the Illusion was not fast enough. A 4-for-0 trade here coming out for in favor, in fact, of the side of Hellborn here. And the Illusion take an absolute freebie here, and a huge one at that. A little bit of over-aggression perhaps onto that Gauntlet. Fast reactions in the form of TPs from the rest of the team will save him and secure them all those kills. And yeah, look at that net worth swing. It was barely 600 net worth difference just now, just like a minute ago. After that team fight, 4k net worth advantage and 5k experience advantage, favoring the side of Neolution here. Looking to be a little bit more dangerous now. Lord Mikhail does go for that Staff of the Master build. No early portal key here to facilitate with those team fights, but I'd imagine that the combo with Gauntlet Blast is pretty good. Those solo pickoffs will help him snowball should he be able to find them. Meanwhile, Wild Soul still working towards that Cleaver should already have it, and there it is, Rune Cleaver done on that Wild Soul. Farming speed will increase exponentially right now. Already sitting on a hefty 551 GPM, just 11 minutes in. Gonna be very happy to just farm away in the jungle right now. Though will barely take him any time to push waves as well. Meanwhile, Silhouette, not to call him down and out just yet, already has the Alchemist Bones here to try to facilitate her own farm. So we're gonna see how the Legion side is gonna try to play a catch-up game against these Hellborn heroes. No, we're seeing a with not Fee. I actually like this Gladiator quite a bit. We're seeing a very what's the word I'm looking for? A very Make, excuse me, player. Make inspired Gladiator here. I guess he popularized it quite a bit during the World Finals themselves. So it's pretty much a position for roaming Gladiator here, trying to secure kills, but unfortunately in that recent clash it just was not enough. But now that he's level 6, we shall see how things will change here for their teamfight potential. But meanwhile, Gauntlet already has that portal key smoked up as well, trying to be aggressive here, skirting around the edge of that middle lane Riverside, but not going to be able to spot anyone out just yet. Monarch here, spotted on the sidelines, might decide to go for him. No one in the range to help her out really, and with the ulti and the hook back, it will be an easy kill secured by 5678. Nothing much the rest of that Legion team can do to really react here. Jeremiah was miles away and Gladiator was just busy trying to stack, completely caught off guard by Gauntlet. Legion side, They might try to react here to the push, but it doesn't seem like Hellborn want to commit to that push at all. In fact, they will double back Gauntlet, going all the way back to base to refill his mana and his bottle. Meanwhile, Pearl putting some defensive wards here around that rune site near the entrance of that Hellborn, that Legion jungle, in fact. Yeah, trying to just play it out a little bit more passively here. Hellborn taking it safe and slow, reacting instead of being proactive in these team fights, and just yeah, this slow pace form of just careful gameplay is actually securing them their early and middle game here. So it does seem to be working out quite well for them. Well, Gladiator sitting inside the near that ancient camp right now will not be spotted out by Wild Soul. Division will not permit it, but Jeremiah will get picked off by Gauntlet once again, doing so much work with that portal key pick up here. And Jeremiah, one of their biggest team fighters, already down and out for the count right now. Gauntlet moving right into the Kong pit, and Feeble up on what's that? Still level 1, but feels like it might be enough. No, it's just a little casual try with that Kong. Wild Soul not ready yet. But Gauntlet will actually be the one to get caught out here, pushed up by Electrician, but it will be enough. He runs up on the high ground towards that Legion side, but we'll be fine. TP's out straight away, out of mana after all. Lord Sulphurus tries to go on them, but we'll be forced to back just a little bit here. Boo Boo, the last remaining member of that Hellborn side, will flee together with the rest of them. And kind of a clunky team fight there. Everyone was forced to disengage, and no real kill was found. Meanwhile, Silhouette working steadily towards that Nowstone here. Already has all the parts except for that recipe, and will have that as well in just another 100 more gold. Gladiator, of course, with that position 4 role, does not have much to his name at all. Just Striders and a power supply on him right now, on top of the Grave Locket. But yeah, as you said, Gladiator, doesn't really need items to get big in these team fights, and has been doing quite a fair bit of work there and just spamming his spells out. Meanwhile, Lord Sulphur is looking to be the face tank of the team, goes for a straight helm with the Black Legion here on top of that Mystic Vestments. Very, very tanky for now, but not putting that to the fullest of the to full use here. Gonna follow the Ancients, but meanwhile, Hellborn side look to take that Kong, which will fall right now. Token goes the way of Seiko. Has his second life and his BKB. We haven't really monitored his farm since that Cleaver, and it has gone out of control here. Sitting on 645 GPM with on top with of course his Cleaver and his Shrunken Head, looking to be a huge presence in these team fights. And Pearl already has the Bracer and the Refreshing Ornament with her as well. So close to having her full Astrolabe here, so gonna be a huge factor on top of everything else. So Hellborn side looking to have a really strong teamfight presence right now. Legion have to be very careful to play around this so that they don't get absolutely slaughtered by this Hellborn lineup. Bombardier does already have his Staff of the Master as well. Electrician, not to mention that Barrier Idol onto him. Teamfight items are ready, they are set, and they want to go. Plants solo kill onto Gladiator, and there we go. Instant usage of that the Palm Strike from that Bombardier. The moment he has that that Staff of the Master, goes straight in for the kill onto Gladiator, and no chance of survival here. Gauntlet not even gonna be punished by that at all. Runs away full on life. And yeah, this is a part of the game where it seems like whether it be big team fights or just casual skirmishes and pickoffs, Hellborn are gonna be, sitting on top of that Legion team. They're gonna be happy with either playstyle, because with the global presence that they have, they don't really care at all. With the enormous amount of teamfight damage they have, they're not gonna care. In fact, Wildstorm goes for the split push while the rest of Hellborn just group up near that middle lane, moving towards bottom now, trying to get a pick off in that Legion jungle side, but will not be able to do so. South Forest and Gladiator both double back before they are caught. The Electrician does pick up that Luminous Prism here. Opens up his options. Could go for the Stone Spirit, could be greedy and try to go for the Hex. I do like that pickup right now. Helps out his mana pool, allows him to take up just a little bit more, and of course, if he does go for something like a Stone Spirit, it helps out Wildstorm or whoever gets hit by the Undying. If he goes for the greedy line of a Hex, of course, it's gonna be great as well. Yeah, considering how far ahead they are right now, they really can't afford to be just, you know, a little bit more greedy and in terms of their playstyle, in terms of their items. Wildstorm could just keep split pushing, and the rest of the team can just find pickles, and there's nothing Legion side can really do at that point. But gonna be able to hold it off for just a bit longer. Creeps pulled all the way back by Boo Boo. The heal from Jeremiah will kill it off in the end, but look at that wave of creeps. Pulled all the way back. Hellborn creeps will be able to advance, but there's a triple creep wave here. Gonna be pushing super hard unless Silhouette comes in. Oh wait, no, that's Silhouette from the side of Legion. What am I talking about? So huge wave of creeps marching down that top lane. Meanwhile, might have not been such a good idea to use that Boo Boo to push out, but meanwhile, marching down middle is that little strike force from that Hellborn side. Gauntlet, the only one absent here, walking around that tier 1 tower. But once again, Hellborn side looking to be a little bit more passive here, looking to be more greedy. So much farm coming out for a while, so Seiko gonna be very, very happy with that. Nearly 700 GPM right now. Silhouette, aggressive PK in. Does reveal her Poke. Not sure if she had that in the previous fights, but I don't think so. Of course, that the Alchemist Wound's paying off quite a bit in allowing her to get that Poke. We'll just go in a little bit aggressively, but we'll swap out with the Illusion. So we'll be fine for now. Happy to farm up just a little bit more of herself as well. Once again, Boo Boo trying to be as much of a nuisance as he can. Pulling all these creep waves everywhere. Lots of forest smokes up here. Looks like a T5 might be a Bruin. Looking towards Electrician, and indeed Zlapped does get that Stone Spirit to save whoever is hit by that Undying here. But a little bit of T5 will break out. Jeremiah gets spammed on right now. Wildstorm with the right click. So much damage inside the Crystal is not gonna matter at all. Gladiator, all he comes in, connects onto 2. Electrician and Pro in the background forced to be focused away from Seiko, and Seiko will fall. Token actually expired right before he died, so quite a shame there. Gauntlet gonna be bursted down with the Morsatisima as well. Bombardier coming in to try and help out. The Palm Strike will not be entirely successful there. Not sure if it landed just now, but not too much of an impact right now. So Hellborn side, they trade 3 for 3, not really in their favor at all, considering that Seiko did die here. How much bounty did he get for that kill? Let's see here. Is that 480 gold? Actually, not that much, huh? Considering that he was farming in the jungle for so long and, you know, got so much net worth, didn't lose too much of gold for that, so it wasn't as bad as we initially thought. But still, it wasn't okay trade, but nothing really to be gained by their side. So perhaps a little bit too greedy on them for that overextension into what was essentially, you know, an area that was still vision controlled by that Legion side. trying to turn up the aggression from them, but seems like it will be just a little bit too early here. Well, so we'll pick up a Firebrand on top of all that, and perhaps we'll improve the teamfight condition soon. Gauntlet goes in, but PK's right out. What was that? I guess he got a hook, but decided to bail out just in time. Good reactions by 5678 not to get caught, but nothing to be found right now. And at this point of time, Legion's side, you know, they're holding out fairly well actually against this, you know, this Hellborn lineup that's ramped up and found good, you know, a good climax in terms of their team fight here. We have Pearl with the Astrolabe, we have Bomb with the Staff of the Master. Of course, he hasn't hit level 16 yet, but you know, we also have Electrician with the Barrier Idol and the Storm Spirit. So I mean, you do have that Wild Soul that has the potential to go crazy and run all across the map and just run over everyone else, but, and there's a big but, you still have Silhouette here, who's sitting nearly toe-to-toe in terms of GPM. Hellborn side have to be careful. I guess that's why they had reason to be aggressive and try to go hard on Legion side near that tier 2 tower on top, but it isn't paying off, and they have to be very, very careful of their movements from now on, because Silhouette has the potential herself to be quite a monster with that sort of GPM. Alchemist Bones really working out in her favor here, much more than we imagined. Monarch sitting around the rune will get spotted out by Pearl. In fact, it's the other way around. Pearl gets caught out by that Monarch crippling pollen onto her. The pushback with the World Bubble will delay her death just a little bit longer. The ultimate as well. Soul's Blessing drops down and they run all across her. Wild Soul gonna be caught out by the ultimate of Gladiator as well. Caught in no man's land, trapped in between so many heroes. Bombardier the next to be caught by that pitfall. Gladiator doing so much work from the back lines. Will finish him off with a more Certissima. And Electrician and Gauntlet both on the run right now. Against 5. No, 4 in fact actually. Jeremiah did die in that scuffle right there. But 4 members remaining on the side of Legion here. That is the result of a 3-for-1 trade in that team fight. Sakurada perhaps a little bit too careless in the way he approached that Monarch there, Boxer. Didn't expect that the rest of the team would be sitting behind looking for a kill. But right now, Legion side, they are out for blood. Silhouette wants to ramp it up. Says she has enough with farming and wants to help out with the team in fights. Lots of Forest is gonna get hooked in by the Gauntlet, caught out of position, but not even really gonna matter. Zap forced to Storm Spirit himself for the time being, and will get the Purge on himself to run backwards right now. But we fight for now. Pitfall once again just casually catches Gauntlet on the Legion's escape out.
Razor loose.
And meanwhile, Silhouette taking full advantage of the space they found in the Hellborn jungle as a result of those skirmishes. We'll farm out that hard camp as much as she can, but will back off in time to avoid being spotted out. Nice game sense from that Silhouette, playing fairly safely here despite trying to balance it out with a little bit of greed. Water side just barely will get spotted out by the second Word of Revelation here from Boxer. Backs off right in time before the rest of the team could find them out. I suppose that Word of Sight here from Boxer, so much value. Spots that 5-man movement from Hellborn aggressively into that river area. So very nicely played by Boxer to place that down there. Essentially saved her team from getting wiped. Or, you know, at least taking a whole lot of casualties. And also here, going for that Dancing Blade, counter to Silhouette straight up. Silhouette has not thought of building into that that Savage Mace just yet, but with a 4.4k net worth, 4.4k gold on top of her items in her inventory right now, should be able to go for that as and when she pleases, really. Will swap out immediately, and Illusion will get caught out by Electrician, will be destroyed. But still happy to be farming away here. Top lane, still a juicy creep wave for her, and another one to follow. Warding so aggressive coming out for... Actually no, that was just that one ward. One aggressive ward coming out for Neolution, but yeah, I mean, in terms of warding here, Legion's side, they have it out for them. Wards are nice and defensive to facilitate the way they want to play right now. They take a fight and then they just back off. They fight within their own favor, so they're gonna be very fine with that. But Kongor gonna be contested right now, dropping really low. Tons comes in immediately and pulls Monarch right back in into no man's land, but Pro bounces her right back out. Gladiator ulti will catch onto 4. Gauntlet on the back lines will get right clicked down by Silhouette. Electrician to follow. No, that wasn't Electrician, that was Bombardier, excuse me. Silhouette going aggressively in onto that wall, so Undying will expire on him. But the Wingbow doing so much work, Silhouette cannot contest him at all. And 3 members of Neolution managed to get out of that skirmish. But at what cost? They are gonna lose that tower, and they've already lost 2 members of their team. So this is gonna be a tough defense against the tier 2, and they will not try at all. So they are forced to sacrifice that tier 2 tower. But yeah, Legion's side, they wisen up. They know that they can't immediately force high ground, so they double back into that comp, and it seems like it should be a free Kongor take for them here. Token to go the way of Aegison, of course, on top of that Wingbow that he just bought just now. And yeah, that's exactly what we've been talking about. Wildsoul was a huge presence earlier on. Still has great items, you know, for the time that the game is at right now. But they've just given Aegison way too much space. With that Elbones especially, he realized that, you know, he could take his time and just try to farm a little bit more, and he pushed that to the limit. Made full use of that Alchemist Bones and just farmed like a monster. Now has a token, has his own Wingbow, basically able to contest Seiko as he pleases. And even if he doesn't, like we've seen in those previous team fights here, he's been a huge force, you know, for just destroying all the other members of Neolution. Meanwhile, we have this Wildsoul sitting in the middle of 4 or 5, and he's trying to do his work. You know, he wants to take on the rest of the team too, but he's unable to do so. So many saving mechanisms coming out from the side of Legion with just, you know, their hero picks. Can't do anything for the entire duration of Soul's Blessing. You have that Chrysalis on top of that to protect whoever's getting focused down. And yeah, it's just gonna be very hard. On top of that, you still have Lost of Forest with that Frostwolf Skull to slow him out. So at this point of time, it's gonna be hard for Seiko to just carry it out. Honestly, he'd probably want to go for more of a split push approach right now and just try to force down those lanes, pressure them down, just whittle them down little by little, and try to take a Rex. Just stretch those Legion forces thin before trying to take them out individually. The rest of the team as well, no, I mean, aside from that Pearl preservation bubble, you can't do all that much here in these team fights. The Astrolabe is less than sufficient right now. Nothing else is really gonna help save teammates too much. Meanwhile, Jeremiah, the up-and-coming rising star of the Legion team, looking to be that third heavy core here, and second proper carry, I suppose, for that side. Still has that Alchemist bonus on top of the Shrunken Head, so lots and lots of magic immunity for him. And with an extra 4.3k going onto him, might see a little bit more aggressive carry-ish items coming out in his inventory pretty soon here. And yeah, of course, there's no real way they can even counter Jereziah's ultimate or their protective charm, thanks to the fact that you can't purge anyone anymore with Nullfire Blade. So no Nullfire is going to be picked up here. I wonder if a Sand Scepter will be picked up in place, but it doesn't seem like anyone's thinking about that right now, or rather can really afford to have one at this point in time. And come to think of it, Sand Scepter doesn't even purge. What am I talking about? Sand Scepter merely, Sand Scepter merely roots the enemy. You can purge your teammates, but you can't purge your enemies. So they're always gonna have that shield on them, and that's gonna be a huge problem for Seiko. So I don't know how he's gonna try to work around that Jereziah ultimate. They're gonna have to stall out the team fight for as long as they can. There's no other way really. Meanwhile, Silhouette just happily pushes down that bottom tier 2 tower. Nothing much these all three members of Hellborn can do against her right now. Oh, Sand Scepter does purge? Oh, apologies. Wasn't too sure about it. Haven't used it all that much just yet. But, so Sand Scepter does purge. Okay, then I guess Hellborn might want to try to pick it up, but who will pick up an item like that? Gauntlet might have a spare slot if he sells that bottle, but seems like he does kind of want to finish up that the Demonic Breastplate first. Once again, free pick off here on that bottom lane. Pro gonna be caught out. Bombardier stuck in no man's land here, inside the tree line. Has to TP out eventually. Pro stays on cooldown for another 3 more seconds. But will try to be a little bit greedier with that push. Luckily for him, yeah, it seems like he does spot out Silhouette on the lane in time, so did go for that push because of that. No other hero to really catch him out. Jereziah could have caught him out with the Goldra Sheepstick there, but was not quite in range. Meanwhile, South Forest already has his Demonic Breastplate, and actually he has had that for the previous team fight before as well, I believe. So once again, huge presence with that Silhouette. Silhouette has the luxury of going for these more, did not have to focus on such aggressive items for herself. Huge aura carrier here in the form of Escape. Gonna be running all around in these team fights, as we've seen, to help out Silhouette. Meanwhile, Wildso does pick up a Shroud, the only development since its Firebrand that we saw maybe 5 or more minutes ago, so that's actually kind of slow at this point in time. GPM still at about 650, not anything bad per se, but in terms of item development, barely anything to speak about. Right now, Legion side establishing their dominance across the map here, taking up the resources of this Hellborn side. Barely anything Hellborn can do about it. Of course, Wildso tries to push out as he does, and gain a little bit of extra gold on the lanes, inside. It didn't even take the Ancients here. Rest of the team is forced and boxed into their base. So we're at this point in time where Legion is facing, in fact, a similar problem that Hellborn faced just now. They're at an advantage. They can take team fights, but they are in somewhat of a lull because they need to push into that base soon. Of course, they can take the tier 2 first, but they're gonna want to push high ground soon. So if Hellborn are successful in defending against 1 or 2 of these pushes, then the teamfight dynamic could change entirely, and Hellborn could get right back into this game in terms of teamfights. Gauntlet here, gonna be spotted out, going in on the creeps greedily, but will not get caught out just yet. Monarch, no mobility item to help her catch up with him immediately, no portal key on her. Both Jereziah and Monarch gonna be smoked out, but no real way to catch that Gauntlet just now. Oh, but let's not speak too soon. Electrician here, gonna get spotted out and slowed up by the Monarch ward, but will perch himself and run away. Silhouette trying to catch up to him, but no real range for that right now. So Forrest is going to be the next one who joins the smoke trend here. Standing in that middle lane, looking for anyone who tries to overextend just a little bit into that lane. Does have the Hex to help him out. But will reveal himself and just go for the wave in the end. Both sides so cautionary in their movements here. They know that one false move could result in a tier 3 tower, or maybe even a Rex or two for either of these teams. Wildso already prepared, moving on that top lane, but will not be able to push up. Meanwhile, let's look at the item development of all the rest of the players, not just the two main cores. Right now, Lord Mikhail does go for a portal key, a little bit of a late pickup. Of course, chose to go for the Staff of the Master first. Was an okay choice, but honestly, I think I would have liked to see that portal key come out first, because when you get a Staff of the Master on Bombardier, ideally you want to get those pickouts across the map with the help of a teammate. In that case, that was 5, 6, 7, 8, but in the grand scheme of things, they managed to make use of that Staff of the Master utility like once or twice at best. So really limited in its usage here. And I mean, yeah, it was used in the team fights, but it wasn't nearly enough. Well placed sticky bomb might have been better here, with that portal key. But meanwhile, Silhouette has the full Kenjiro finished up on her person here. Wildso, of course, could choose to go that route as well, but wants to save some gold for his buyback. 4.9k onto him. In fact, he might have enough, even if he does choose to go for that Genjuro. But where are his items here? Oh, there he is. The full Genjuro will be bought out by him. So, in fact, does finish that Genjuro right now. So, matching Silhouette in terms of items very closely here, really. But as of now, still no real items to really be put on Boo Boo for him. So, of course, still has 4 more slots to try and abuse and play with in the extreme late game stage, but not gonna be able to build into that just yet. And Edgerton does pick up that third token, I believe. Bananas should have dropped. Yep, we'll go to South Forest. Actually, does drop it to Gladiator here. So, oh no, it was just using him to help him out and pass the bananas to him. So just a quick regen at the base. What was that? That's kind of weird. Oh, but either way, Silhouette no longer has a portal key now. Dropped it in favor of that token of life. So perhaps should still be okay with the presence of that illusion. But what is Wildso doing? Seiko has been running into that tree line there in that little cubbyhole there, like 2 or 3 times now, looking and waiting for the split push, I guess, but kind of just sitting passively there. Kind of strange here. Bunch of camps to be taken, but without the ward vision, I guess he's a little bit too afraid to do it right now. Silhouette does not have a reliable catching mechanism anymore, unless you count that Genjuro here. A little bit early here, reacts immediately to see that Bombardier and just right clicks onto him. The Bombardier ult will drop on her head and she will fall. Gauntlet here, trying to use the ult but not gonna be in time. Gets the swap out with the illusion, who's run miles away already. So does expend the token, but pretty nice here of her to create space for her team. Top lane, they are marching down on that tier 3 defense tower. Gauntlet, instant ultimate onto Lots of Force, but will get purged off just as quickly here. Pitfall will catch him out, but the Preservation Bubble will keep him alive for now. So much damage negated. Electrician will get stunned off for now. Gauntlet delays his death just a little bit more, but will fall after the Storm Spirit effect expires. Lots of Forest has not used that Cauldron Sheepstick just yet. Will get stunned out by Electrician. Pitfall will catch out Electrician in the end. Storm Spirit delay his movement just a little bit more. Wild Soul comes in, goes ham onto him, destroys him entirely. Jeremiah here will turn and hex Seiko up. The stun will connect onto Gauntlet here. Jeremiah still trying to run away with his tail in between his legs, but the right clicks will do too much damage and will take him on in the end. Monarch gets the TP out with a Void Talisman, will survive entirely, and Silhouette comes back and turns in. Wants to take revenge for all of her teammates, but will only be able to do so on the hit of Zlapped here. Zlapped will fall, but no real follow-up to be found. Silhouette still sitting around, will catch Pearl off guard, excuse me, and nicely played by her. Very, very quick pick off. PK's right out before that right click from Wild Soul can connect. Basically a freebie at the end of the fight. Nicely played by Edgeson to be patient and not just scramble out of there immediately. It's a little bit of an awkward move there from South Forest here, as I'm sure he had all the time in the world to use his bananas and save himself and, you know, really just extend the team fight and perhaps turn that fight on his hit. It's still such a huge presence. Not a single thing was used by him in that team fight. No Sheepstick, no Undying. I'm not sure if the Undying was used, but as far as I could see, Sheepstick was off cooldown, so a little bit awkward by him there. Maybe he was lagging just a little bit in those team fights. Who knows? That was kind of strange, but either way, team fight will go in the favor of that Legion side. Tier 3 tower will fall, but no Rex to be found just yet. But this will allow for a much easier push later on. Silhouette goes aggressively in once again. Genjuro's up. Does use it around that creep wave with that second usage to maintain invisibility, but should be fine for now. Goes in for the straight backdoor here. Tries to go on the melee Rex, but look at that backdoor regen, recent patch. Doing so much work here. No way she can take that Rex down in time. With the increased attack speed from her passive, it was barely even enough to keep it down consistently, so unfortunately, backdooring just doesn't work nearly as well as it used to anymore.
Razor loose.
Meanwhile, Gauntlet sitting within the confines of that Kong pit, smoked up, moving onto the high ground. Will swap his demonic breastplate. Aura will be seen very clearly on those creeps. Your Death Lotus will deny his PK for now. Gets hexed up, but purged up immediately by Electrician. But still caught out in the end and will get decimated by all four heroes collapsing onto his hit. Meanwhile, also trying to run away. Eye on Monarch will spot him out with that Gunjiro. But no real opportunity to find a kill or for Hellborn to turn either, so Legion side just make their way towards that top Rex area again and try to take it down without creeps, but it's not really working out for them just yet. Right click focus onto that melee Rex, but it's still regenning so quickly, and the glyph as well will preserve it indefinitely for now. Electrician here will get Pollen out, but finally Lots of Forest pops the bananas, preserves his life, but he falls so quickly to the right clicks of Wild Soul. Gets hexed out temporarily, but will continue his streak of dominance and takes another one down. Meanwhile, Monarch gets bursted down before she can get the TP out this time. And Silhouette, the last remaining member of the team here, will try to go greedy onto that Pearl, but the Preservation Bubble will bounce her back. No damage onto her to deny that portal key at all. Or was that just a swap? No, that was just a swap out, excuse me. Just a swap out with her illusion. But yeah, unfortunately no kill to be found on that Silhouette. But a 4-for-1 trade, this time favoring that Hellborn side, will result in a push. And didn't really mention this because we haven't been looking at Wild Soul's items for so long, but that Harkon's Blade, holy crap, such an unholy amount of damage coming out from him, absolutely decimated the members of that Legion side. Perhaps our Silhouette could use an extra item on herself right now, sitting on an additional nearly 9,000 gold here. Still farming away, but no items to be found on her person. Perhaps an attack modifier, much like the one that Walzo has, would be pretty useful for her situation right now. I mean, she's dishing out tons of damage, but she could use a little bit more. Gauntlet will be her target of focus right now. Tries to go aggressive, but instantly swaps out. Just yeah, that was a little bit strange. Nothing to really be accomplished there from that little jump, but might as well, I guess. Meanwhile, Gladiator here, really not looking to transition into any sort of core role at all. Goes for that Storm Spirit, still staying faithful to his role as a position for Gladiator right now. And Jeremiah so far sitting on an additional 1,800 gold, but no real other items onto him aside from the hex that we've seen, you know, quite a while ago. In fact, so Forest too. For now, Silhouette's just, you know, that huge hungry dragon just hoarding all of that gold to herself. Not really doing anything with it, in fact. Meanwhile, Electrician working with Boo Boo to scout out that jungle and try to find some pick off at all. Bombardier, of course, at the ready with that ultimate, but will it be enough at this point of time? Seems very unlikely unless it's something like the Gladiator or the Monarch here. Right now it feels like Silhouette's enjoying herself as a Thai carry way too much here. 10,000 gold on her. I mean, at this point of time, she doesn't even really need something like the Announcement anymore. Could substitute it out for something like the Savage that she's, you know, desperately needed against that Wild Sword to try and contest him, if at all, in these team fights. Meanwhile, Hellborn heroes still running across the map, but only in their sector of the area here. Not gonna be able to find out any not gonna be able to spot out any Hellborn any Legion heroes, in fact, excuse me, lurking around in these parts. Both teams playing very cautiously here. Yeah, at this point of time, any win, any team fight won or loss would mean at least a bunch of buybacks forced out, if not just, you know, a set of frags. So they're gonna have to be very careful here. Both teams congregating near that middle lane. Hellborn will be the first to venture outwards. Also, right in the midst of all those heroes here, Boo Boo will be there to bait out just a little bit. Monarch to be caught out, but will delay her own death with that Storm Spirit. Rest of the team jumping on. Ultimate from that Bombardier will not be that effective here. Misses all of those heroes. Gladiator on the back lines trying to help out. Lots of Forest going ham onto that Walzo. Walzo dropping really low. Storm Spirit out to save himself just a little bit longer. Tries to go on the Gladiator. So much damage from the right click. Almost insta-gibbs him, but will not be able to find that kill. Gauntlet to fall in the back lines here as well. And that was an immediate buyback from Seiko, I believe. A little bit too hasty on his part. But I mean, I guess he wanted to get ready for the defense, but that was a lightning fast buyback for a team fight that was halfway across the map. But meanwhile, Gladiator will, no, in fact that was Electrician, excuse me, will get caught out inside that jungle here. And once again, another Congo will go the way of that Legion side. This time, Silhouette finally slotted up. Finally gets her Savage Mace. Does still keep a Nullstone on herself though, so has all that on her, and token will be given to the Lord South Forest here. Of course, as a frontline hero, he does need it quite a bit right now. Still bursted down a little bit too easily by that Wild Soul. And the bananas will go the way of Jeremiah. Bottom lane, they are committing to a full push here. Defense tower will fall. No more backdoor regeneration with that creep wave inside the base right now. Gauntlet tries to go for the hook, but will whiff it. Silhouette goes very aggressively on the Bombardier. Doesn't get punished for it though. Right now, Gauntlet tries to go in for her. Will get the ultimate off. Storm Spirit down as well. Bombardier ulti will miss onto her thanks to that Storm Spirit. Electrician turning back onto the Lord South Forest. Lord South Forest going onto the Wild Soul here. It's such a menace to that Wild Soul. Wild Soul can't really do anything against South Forest at all. But South Forest now going to be turned on himself. Nice pitfall there to catch both Bombardier and Gauntlet out. But Jeremiah in the middle of everyone else, together with Lord South Forest, Bros for Life, will leave his buddy to die eventually. But Bombardier jumping in with the double stun onto both Silhouette and South Forest. South Forest will get hexed up and will fall eventually. Silhouette to die as well. Will not be able to plan some sort of successful escape. Gauntlet not confident enough to try to throw in a hook, or rather, was it on cooldown? Yeah, it was on cooldown, unfortunately. Was not able to land onto any of those heroes since it was on cooldown. Blech, what am I talking about? But both Gladiator and Monarch, I believe, did get the TP out. Jeremiah here, meanwhile, trying to push out just a little bit to prevent that counter push from Wild Soul. But Wild Soul has to be very careful. Pitfall nearly catches onto him, but he will get hexed up immediately. That true damage strike from Jeremiah dealing a hefty bit of damage, but it won't be nearly enough against him. Gladiator ultimate comes in, but will not catch on anyone at all. They double back before they get caught. And our Pitfall will miss this time. Electrician caught out in the midst of all of them, but will get hooked up by Gauntlet. Nicely played there by 5, 6, 7, 8. Bubble here, preservation here to save Electrician just a little bit longer. TP. Gauntlet on the back lines. Photo keys back in. Perhaps a little bit aggressive to try to bait out, but will not be able to find anything here. And will be the only man caught out to die in the end. Somehow, both Pearl and the Electrician get the bail out in that situation here. And all five of all five heroes from this Legion team, excuse me, are grouped up on that middle lane. They're looking to push. They're mean and they want that Rex. They've just been focusing on the priority Rexes right now, going all for those melee Rexes and not caring at all for those ranged ones. Just securing objectives and trying to just slowly but surely tip Hellborn over the edge here. Gauntlet will get hexed out. And nearly stunned out by the Pitfall, but will not be able to, will not be caught. Timing was slightly off there with that Storm Spirit. Undying was dropped onto the head of Wild Soul once again, but no follow-up here. They have to be careful. Undying's been such a huge presence for that Wild Soul in shutting him down. Without it in a team fight, they have to be extremely careful of being turned on by that very hero. So much gold onto Wild Soul right now, 4.6k on top of everything. Of course, he desperately wants to save for his buybacks. Has one buyback left right now, but should start transitioning into that dual man 8-slotted carry soon. If not, I don't think he'll be able to contest much in these team fights after a while. Right now, he's being controlled up too heavily by that Lord South Forest. He's gonna need a little bit of extra help, possibly in the form of that Boo Boo. Gauntlet will get that Lord South Forest hooked out of position, but no real fallout right now. Wild Soul going ham onto the Silhouette, right clicks down onto her head, dropping low, but will get the shot off before she dies. Bombardier caught out with the preservation bubble, will preserve him just a little bit longer here on barely any health, but no one to focus him down as of now. Electrician running away as well in a similar situation, but will be fine. All the Hellborn heroes running away on solo health, but Wild Soul might just be the one to get caught out here. Solo on health will get dusted out. is forced to back off. Gladiator tries to go for the whip, will get turned immediately and get decimated by the Wild Soul, but in return he will get bursted down by Lord Forest with a more Setissima and a live tap. Huge Factor is out of that Hellborn side, but two of them try to chase down that Jeremiah, and should be a dead duck right about there. Monarch here, caught out. Should be okay for now, but Lord Forest turns onto the Electrician. 1v2 will not be able to get much. Silhouette comes in with the free kill on to onto 5, 6, 7, 8 on that gauntlet. Still around, still aggressive. Goes straight for the Rex. Doesn't even care for the pro kill. But seems like nearly gets killed by a Wild Soul. So much damage from those right clicks still. But will secure all lanes of melee Rex. In fact, only a range Rex is left standing on that middle lane right now. So nearly mega creeps here for the Legion side. Nothing much Hellboy can really do about it. The reactive playstyle that was working out for them early on just spelled their doom right about now. Because at this point of time, they just held out way too long against the power of a Silhouette. Of course, Wild Soul does go for his own Savage Mace finally to try to contest the wingbow of that Silhouette. Ironic, really, how that Silhouette had her wingbow after Wild Soul and couldn't handle him at first, but right now, oh how the tables have turned. At this point of time, Bombardier does have a Hex. Not sure when he caught that, but on top of that, does have a Wrestle Stone. Not too much to be offered by him in the way of damage, honestly, with that Napalm Strike, double Napalm Strike even, but the double Hex will be an important factor in these team fights. At this point of time, it's really just, the damage from Seiko and the disables and the preservation from the rest of his teammates that form up the entirety of the team fight. Form 3-man smokes coming out here. Electrician to be hexed up immediately. Nearly caught out by the Silhouette tree grapple, but will be lucky to escape that just there. Jeremiah here coming in. Monarch gonna be hooked out of position by that gauntlet. Will fall immediately. Bound Eye to drop as well. Shout users be happy right now. Wild Soul on the back line, so forced to try and contest Lords of Forest, dropping solo. Undying onto him. Will not die just yet. Undying has expired, and he manages to live with a sliver of health. Meanwhile, Silhouette on the run here, 2 members left. Monarch seems like she was forced to buy back as well to help out. Gladiator was near the top lane, so 4 members left in total. So Forest is the only one to fall right now. Somehow Legion couldn't pressure them completely and help them manage to hold out just one more team fight. But seems like that was really the result of Lord Forest just getting a little bit too aggressive here onto that Wild Soul. I mean, it's worked every other team fight, but just this time, there wasn't enough focus for the Silhouette just yeah, he did. Silhouette could not get the swap out in time. Was it the mini bashes from that Wild Soul? Doesn't seem like it could be the case. That was really weird, but Silhouette to fall. What was that? Okay, so biggest core is down here on the side of Legion. Does have a buyback, but does not want to use it just yet. Creeps will be in the vicinity here for the middle lane on the Hellborn side. They are marching in. They do want to force down that tower right about now. Pitfall will stop Wild Soul just temporarily, but tower is still falling rapidly here. Pearl has no choice but to stay in that base and defend against the mega creeps. But even then, I mean, the rest of the heroes on that Hellborn side will not be able to take that high ground tier 3 tower at all. Forced to back off. Silhouette will respawn in another 10 seconds, and Legion have will be able to reset themselves pretty easily here. I mean, as long as Aegison doesn't do well what he did just now, you know, just run in and try to go aggressively onto that Rex, I guess, without being able to swap out in time, he should be fine. A slow and stable teamfight is what they really need right now. And all wild, so there we go, the Doombringer, the granddaddy of all aggressive items. Finally, the time has come to see him in action. No bark armor on any of these team members here to counteract that at all, so he will be very, very happy, at least for you know, the first team fight, the first taste of that Doombringer for them. So we'll see how Legion react to them as soon as they unpause this game. And yeah, all the items are bunched up on that wild, so at this point in time, still nothing to Boo Boo's name, the poor thing. Holding only a shield, a Logger's Hatchet, one Minor Totem, and a TP should Wildso need it. Why is he holding a TP anyway? Wildso has post haste. But yeah, it seems like Seiko doesn't want to be that huge you know, that 8-slotted hero just yet. Instead wants to go for full commitment onto his main hero in the end. So we will see how that Doombringer will work out for him pretty soon. Even Pearl has a restoration stone at this point of time, so double preservation bubbles. Those happen very, very common in these team fights. It's of course, you know, despite scaling, it's still a great mechanism to bounce back any heroes and stop them from going onto a teammate. The bounce is superior. The knockback, in fact, is superior magic after all. So it's kind of surprising that Wild Soul doesn't go for anything onto that Boo Boo. You know, something like maybe a Mark of Brilliance to help out, or maybe even an Abyssal Skull for the extra bit of lifesteal. You know, whatever else. But 3.8k gold onto him right now, and no buybacks. So he really should be investing a little bit of gold to help himself out really, because he's a main right clicker in this point of time. Really questionable decision not to put anything onto that Boo Boo, considering that he has no buybacks and a surplus of gold right now. I'm not too sure what they're saying right now because I can't read Thai, but doesn't seem like we will be unpausing just yet. At this point of time, it does kind of seem like Monarch is the only hero on this Legion side without any items to her name here. I mean, you can kind of count the post haste and the bound eye, but nothing else really in the way of items for her to help her team out. It's really been playing that position 5 role to a T in this game here, focusing all his gold onto wards and whatnot. Of course, saving for buybacks right now. Doesn't have quite enough for his buyback just yet, but I imagine that he's not willing to spend anything else until he gets enough. And Legion go for yet another Kongor take here. Token and Banana should go the same way that they've gone in that previous round. Token to Sulphurus, and of course Bananas to Jeremiah. Or maybe Monarch, yeah. Monarch does have a free slot here. Legion, they are prepping for the final push into that Hellborn base, grouping around in the mouth of that jungle. Hellborn side very, very wary of where they are going to move. And of course, Seiko has revealed the presence of that Doombringer in his inventory by farming up those creep waves. But yeah, let's see how Hellborn, let's see how Legion, in fact, sorry, react. Oh, what am I doing? React to this to the presence of this new threat in their midst. Lots of Forest here might be able to you know, control him up as much as he did before, but just any window at all will allow him to turn completely on South Forest. So they have to be very, very careful with how they try to deal with this Wild Soul. Also goes in the backline, immediately goes onto Gladiator with the Purges, and the ultimate will not be able to get any damage done at all. Stuck inside the midst of all those heroes. Second Soul's Blessing to be popped here. Has to be extremely careful. Second Preservation Bubble popped out. Range Tracks will fall in the end. Wild Soul, the stun will catch him out. Last Storm Spirit will not be enough, and he will fall. Doombringer to fall with him. And Gladiator here, trying to be saved on the back lines. Boundai on the ground. Gladiator to pick up that Doombringer. The Whip of Doom is out for him. And Aegism will help clean up the rest of that team. And an instant base take for the rest of them will spell the end of this game. And there we go. Wow, Doombringer wasn't nearly enough there in the midst of that team fight. So much presence from that Jeraziah just completely disallowed him from making use of his Doombringer at all. So yeah, GG. First game will go the way of Phoenix MIXS on that Legion side. And we'll be moving into our second game. Of course, folks, this is a best of 5 series, so that's a first to 3 wins win condition for either of these teams. And we will proceed to that second game, I'd imagine, pretty shortly here.